All right, everybody, we are live. This is Matt Vogel. I'm doing the YadaCoin Sunday broadcast. All right, so we have some very exciting news to get to today. The roadmap is finally here. All right, we are finally there. We have the roadmap out the door. The slide deck is officially live. And I want to remind everybody that it is a living document, so it's going to be changing as, feedback comes in and questions are asked and things like that. We're going to be updating the document and, just providing additional clarity and making improvements, because, things evolve as the roadmap is executed. So we're going to be dynamic in a lot of respects. So if you have any questions or suggestions or anything like that, definitely shoot them my way. We've had a lot of really great feedback on the roadmap so far. It's been very encouraging. The reaction and the response to it is really, really great. We've had some folks from the community that have been here for years that have kind of come out of the woodwork and said, "Oh, I saw that on the roadmap, and I can help you with that," and that's amazing. And so, if you guys, if there's anybody else out there that has any expertise in any areas that we are trying to execute on the roadmap, definitely get a hold of me because we love the help and we want to just get this out the door even faster. And any expertise that people can bring in is amazing. So let's bring up the roadmap and let's talk about it. So we have the let's bring up that first slide. So yeah, we have the rocket going to the moon because this new roadmap is going to take us to that next generation, that bleeding edge. We are definitely on the we're typifying what can be done with blockchain technology at this point. So it's a payment network. It's a network for communication and exchanging encrypted transactions, and we can do streaming with it, and we can do so much more. And on top of that, we're going to be introducing DeFi features. We're going to be doing wrap tokens, and that's just going to plug us into a huge ecosystem. So that rocket with the YadaCoin logo with the moon shaded under it is quite appropriate. Let's go to the next slide. So, what we plan to do. So, so the deck talks about problems and solutions, and then it talks about the vision, and then it talks about the market. So who cares about it? You know what I mean? Who is actually going to be interested in what we're doing? Because a lot of times, you have a project and then you get really interested and just fascinated with the technology end of things, and then you just, build and build and build, and then, sometimes you find that, it's not a huge audience for, what you want to do. So we need to justify the building and the work that we're doing with actual market research. So that's what we're doing in those slides. Is we're analyzing the market size and who are the people that are going to care about the work that we're doing. And then after that, we talk a little bit about tokenomics. So there's going to be some changes in the tokenomics. We're going to be dicing up the block rewards and things like that to reward other node types that are giving us service. So nodes or the mining rigs are performing a service for the network, and they're doing a great job. But there are also other nodes that perform a service for the network as well, and we need to reward them. And I think that's very exciting because it introduces a whole new it reaches out to a whole new audience for people that can get introduced to the ecosystem who may not necessarily be in the mining community. So I think that's really exciting, and it may be actually a lower barrier to entry for a lot of folks. So, so that's really cool. Then next, we basically just go, take a deep dive into the dates and the timelines and the tasks that are associated with everything that's going on. So, we want to talk about what is the actual work that needs to be done. So we don't want to just, say, oh, this is, kind of our dream, or, and these are the things that, we have an idea of what we want to do. We're actually saying these are the things that need to be done. And in the next section, we talk about the timeline, and so we talk about the timeline, we talk about when things are actually going to happen. So we give date ranges of, and the order in which things are going to be executed. So I feel like this slide deck really covers a lot. There's, I think, like 23 slides, pretty sure. Yeah, so we have quite a bit in here. And again, if you have additional questions beyond what's in here, go ahead and let me know. I'm happy to add more slides, add more content, 2 slides, anything like that. So that handles the content slide. So the first problem that we state in the deck is audience access. So these platforms will often censor legitimate voices, okay? And so you can get deplatformed for things that are not illegal, and they are just simply unpopular, okay? So we want to give those voices a place to live. We want voices to live and breathe and be able to exist in a fair ecosystem. And that is one of the biggest goals here that we have listed in the first slide for the first problem. And then so the second point I thought was really important to list there as a problem was the IP multicasting over the internet is not a viable option. So this is something that I looked into a while ago, and I thought, okay, well, maybe we could just do IP, multicasting, and instead of, getting involved in all this other infrastructure work and, doing this blockchain project and all this stuff. This is what I was thinking a long time ago. And after doing some research, you find that mysteriously this perfect solution isn't available over the broad internet, okay? And it has a lot to do with some security issues. There's some denial of service vulnerabilities there. And those are the exact problems that we can solve using a token, using a coin, a utility token like YadaCoin. And you attach a cost and maybe some computing power associated with the identities of the broadcaster. Well, then you have your solution. And so that's what our solution is. So we have the solution to audience access, and YadaCoin's blockchain can be used for multimedia multicasting. Okay, and so multicasting in comparison to broadcasting. So broadcasting is just sending out to everybody. Okay, that's not super difficult. That's actually what we do right now. We just broadcast transactions and blocks to the entire network. Okay, but what we want to do is do multicasting, where individual and specific peers can subscribe to a particular broadcast or stream of data, and they can receive that individually. So not every single peer on the network will receive, this broadcast that's happening somewhere. So only specific people will get it. And so that's the difference with multicasting versus broadcasting. And what we want to do with that is also we want to reward the people that are routing the traffic. Okay, so we want to make sure that the nodes that are on the network are being rewarded for routing those data packets to the specific peers. So we're doing the multicasting, and then who's supporting that? It's the full nodes, right? So we have people mining blocks, which is great for the transactions, but then we have the full nodes that are also performing a service, and they're the ones that are actually routing these transactions to specific peers. So that's how we're going to solve that problem. Anyway, so then we get into problem 2, and that's identity ownership. Okay, so all the usernames and passwords on the internet are vulnerable to replay attacks. Okay, so if I get your username and password, then I can just use your username and password and send that back to the service that you're trying to log into, and I can essentially be you, right? But and that's because it happened. So that it's vulnerable because you can have a man in the middle, right? So if you have an insecure network configuration for whatever reason, then you can accidentally find yourself in a situation where there's a man in the middle and they intercept your username and password, and they can replay that and log in as you onto that service, right? And a lot of people don't have multi-factor authentication, and so they're still vulnerable to that type of attack. So identity ownership is super important because what happens when you own your identity, you own your own key, you own your identity. So you can dynamically generate a signature. It's like a smart signature. And you can take like a challenge code from the service and then sign that with your identity and send it back, and that can't be replayed. Once it's used, it's done. It's just a throwaway code, and it's over after it's used once. Okay, so it's very important to use that, and we want to make sure that we're getting rid of replay attacks as much as possible. Okay, so moving on, not to get too far into the weeds on that one, but user relationships are traceable and they're proprietary, right? So you can't take your user relationships anywhere. You can't take your user relationships from Facebook and bring them over to Twitter. You have to like re-import using their email, all this other stuff. You can't friend request from Twitter to Facebook. You can't, request and send messages from Reddit over to Twitter. You can't do any of that stuff. It's all a walled garden and everything's proprietary. You can't share anything. You can't do any of that stuff. There's no interoperability, and you are the product. You are what they're making money off of, so they're going to keep you in their walled garden as much as possible and try to make it so, as hard as possible for you to leave, which is the exact opposite with YadaCoin, where we are trying to encourage you to try as many services as possible and get involved in the ecosystem as deeply as possible with as many services as possible so that you can have the most rich experience possible. So, you could be accepting messages from, you could have like services bringing in data into other applications, and consuming data from all different data sources. And, because none of that is, proprietary, you could make really insanely cool applications with all of this different data that can come in and be consumed. And that's really the broader vision that I see for that. So, but I digress a little bit. So the solution to identity ownership and traceability and proprietary data with regards to your identity is to create a mobile identity device to isolate and secure your identity. So the mobile identity device is something that I've been talking about for a while, and that happens to be a Raspberry Pi right now, and we have a full node running on Raspberry Pi, which is really cool. I've showed screenshots of the full node running, downloading blocks, downloading transactions. It runs exactly the same as a full node on like Ubuntu or Windows, and I think that's very exciting because then once you have that full node running on that device, not only do you get that full node, but now you have a mobile identity signature mechanism. So you can authenticate on the go. Once you free that identity from like your desktop or your laptop, now you have something in your pocket that you can use to get into your house, get into a parking garage, get into a work environment. You could use it as something like a YubiKey in your laptop for multi-factor authentication. It could be used for all kinds of really cool stuff. So the second point on the solution for identity ownership is to use the identity device for direct access to your social networks with no middleman. So what you have there is you have this mobile identity device that has access to your entire social graph, and you don't need any middleman. So you're going to be downloading the entire blockchain to the identity device, and that has all of your relationships on it, right? So you can use all of that for authentication, listing your friends, sending messages, all of that stuff. It's a really cool device, and I'm really excited about getting that portion of this all started. So, the vision, the first vision. So we have, we go to the next slide. What else? I'm so excited about this stuff. All right, so the first vision slide. Our vision is a whole new way to create a social graph, reach a global audience, and get paid. Okay, so we have a picture of someone that is like a content creator or a streamer, or somebody that's putting content out there. They're doing a podcast, they're doing a live stream, they're doing a broadcast, whatever it is, and they want to get that information out to multiple users at the same time. So it's not necessarily like a concert you're actually putting on, but let's just say this is your audience, okay? And so that's what we're really trying to make sure that that's what we're trying to enable, is trying to get you a direct connection with your audience, so that we don't have this middleman that is deciding whether or not your content is, okay and popular enough to exist. So that's what we're doing there. So we want to kind of imagine being able to monetize your social graph without feeling like you're stepping on eggshells. So that quote is especially pertinent, I think, in like today's Twitter environment or Facebook, where you can, kind of get put in Facebook jail or suspended for a few days or something like that for things that you say that are against official narratives and things like that. So we're just protecting people from, being banned for just saying things that are on their mind. These things are not illegal to say, so you should be able to say them, and that's what we're all about. So the market. Is the market there? Is there a huge market for this? Of course there is. The social graph monetization market is huge. Okay, so if we're giving content creators, or whoever it is, an avenue to monetize their content, monetize their streams, or whatever it is, we're going to win, right? And if we can, on top of that, give them a way to maintain their audience, have a direct connection with their audience, not be able to lose their audience. So like, they own their audience, they own their identity, they own the relationships. Their audience cannot be taken from them by somebody else, okay? So that market has millions of active users every single day, and we're talking about TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all the big ones, and those could all potentially come over to YadaCoin and be in our ecosystem of applications, and we could potentially take big market share in that area. So be looking for that. And then the big dogs are already talking about that all the time. Elon Musk is talking about like a decentralized social network based on blockchain and all that stuff. I mean, the writing's on the wall. Everyone knows that this is where it's going, and so we're way ahead of the curve in this. I think that it's a really exciting time, and especially exciting when you hear folks at that higher level talk about it. I think that it's just very encouraging, and it lets me know that things are starting to come up to the surface. It's not quite there, but it's getting there, and we're at the right stage to hit that wave at the appropriate time. Smack the lip and get pitted, if you remember the meme on that one. All right, so our vision to create an ecosystem of seamless authentication and integration. So I talked a little bit about that just a second ago. You have your identity device. You can authenticate at your house, or you talk about smart home. authenticating at work, and you know the drill. All of this stuff has not been done before for the average user. Everyone's still on usernames and passwords. Everyone's still using all these archaic authentication things that are completely vulnerable, and they often get taken advantage of by replay attacks. So, let's just get this, hardware wallet slash identity device out to market and continue to improve the hardware, continue to improve the software, and we're going to revolutionize the world in that way as well. There's so many big ideas in this slideshow, and I'm really excited about it. So the market on that, so nearly every device you interact with will require identity, right? I mean, even like an oven has like an Internet of Things device, and I've seen like a toothbrush. You have to log into your toothbrush now. It's just, it seems crazy, but I mean, people want to get their stats on how clean their teeth are, and that's all based around your identity. So it's just like, having this user-centric identity device there to kind of keep it all together and help you manage, who should have your data, who is authorized to have your data. All of this can be handled on the blockchain. We can do all of this automatically and show you all the statistics and give verifiable proof of who should have your data and who should not. None of this, oh, I found it here and, I got it from a partner, affiliate, or, it's like, no, it's like we can use signatures and cryptography to decide who was given explicit access to this data. So that's going to be evolving as well. I'm very excited about that. We have some additional things called tokenomics. When I hit that slide, so tokenomics are going to be a big thing. I think everybody's really excited about that. Full nodes will support the infrastructure. Block rewards will soon be split with full nodes. I talked about this already. Users running full nodes will earn passive income. So that's right. So all you have to do is send some of your coins to a smart contract, keep your full node up and running. You'll automatically be placed into the infrastructure somewhere, wherever it is a good fit. And then, hold on one second, we have some kind of camera issue. Okay, anyway, yeah, so then you'll be inserted into the network and you'll start earning passive income for just having a full node up and running. And that's totally new. We have not had that that concept introduced to date. So that I'm very excited about. I think that that's going to be a huge thing, especially for routing the traffic, getting that traffic through NAT traversal, NAT address translation, your router, all that stuff. We need to, bypass a lot of those blockers, the infrastructure that, has made things more challenging. Okay, so we're going to get into the exchanges, right? Oh, sorry. Apparently, this thing likes to just zoom in. It likes my face. I don't know why. Sorry about that. Anyway, we have exchanges. Okay, so let's flip to the exchanges slide, and we have some wrap tokens that we're going to be putting out. So in order for us to get integrated into these decentralized exchanges, which I think is the most important part of the trading volume end of this. So like, we just want to make sure that people are able to exchange the token for other coins, right? So decentralized exchanges are always going to be the best and most pure crypto pure, I guess if that's like a term, way of exchanging, a way of trading coins. So we want to get on decentralized exchanges, and the way that we're going to do that is with wrapped tokens. So we need to have YadaCoin wrapped token on any of these blockchain projects that support like smart contracts that we can create a wrapped token on. So basically, we are like attaching our ledger to another ledger, and we can do that on the Ethereum blockchain. We can do that on the Binance Smart Chain. We can do that on Polygon. We can do that on Avalanche. And once we create our wrap token over there, then we can use and be a part of all of the decentralized exchanges that use those blockchain projects, right? So they've already integrated with those projects, and now we've now introduced our coin into that ecosystem, and so that's going to have a bunch. That's going to have a huge impact on trading volume. Okay, and we could be added to any number of decentralized exchanges at that point. It's going to be huge. I think that's going to be a very, very, very big thing. We already have, we have Radio Shack actually. So you might think of Radio Shack as somebody that has like a brick and mortar, electronics and hardware store, and but that's not actually how it is right now. So they've actually pivoted to a different infrastructure, or like a different business model, right? So now they're doing DeFi. So now they actually have an exchange, and they got a hold of us, and they want to get us involved in their decentralized exchange ecosystem. So they have like a few different chains that they interact with, like Ethereum, all the ones that I mentioned, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, and Avalanche. So we're going to be integrating with all of those. We're going to be creating wrap tokens in all of those areas. I think it's super exciting. So, I think that some of the other impacts that it will have is, our coin market cap listing still isn't in that tracked tier, and it's just it's going to be a very good brand impact. I guess from a branding perspective, that we have that coin in a ranked category, and so we can see where we are in the totality of the crypto industry. So that's going to be very exciting, and I think that's highly necessary. So as for the rest of the timeline, so the future development timeline, I won't go into all of that because I don't want to bore everybody with it really, but just going over the summary of it, June 1st through the 30th, we're going to be doing infrastructure node rewards. So, what I talked about with giving people passive income for being part of the network and running a full node. Create wrap tokens to support Radio Shack and other DEX listings. July 1st through 31st is going to be dynamic blockchain network topology. And August 1st through 31st is going to be internet protocol and independent routing. So I've talked about all that stuff. September 1st through 31st, we're going to be starting the UI for subscribing and connecting to receive push notifications. So if I can just talk about that for a second, and I feel weird for saying boring earlier. This is not boring, but I'm just saying, when I get into the details, people will tend to fall asleep sometimes. So I just don't want to get, too into the weeds of anything. But this stuff is this is super exciting. So when we talk about the mobile devices, the identity device will also do notifications, right? So we need to have notifications working because push notifications are sort of like the gatekeeper right now for usability, So instead of having to go check all the time the application, if you have to do that, I feel like the application really is just kind of dead, because push notifications really bring you back, especially if you have a lot of subscriptions like on YouTube or something like that. You wouldn't know to go back and check a particular subscription, for updates or anything like that. So it's super important that you get push notifications to go check your messages, to go check your community, to go, check your groups and things you've been added to, all that stuff. So we had to come up with a solution for push notifications, because we're not going to be going through the App Store. We're not going to be going through Google Play Store. So we have to make sure that we are getting data pushed to your phone, getting your attention somehow, right? And that's the job of the identity device. That's going to be giving you a vibration, giving you a sound or something like that when an event takes place that needs your attention. Okay, so after that, we're going to be we're going to be starting on the worker to detect transactions intended for connected wallets, right? So that's just more like connected peer subscriber type of things, right? So just more routing into connected peers. So after that, the October 1st through 31st is going to be more focused on the identity device. So that's going to be, constructing DIYs and documentations, and then we're going to be getting into some constructing on how to so we're going to be getting into more of like the hardware, the constructions, and getting into the software end of things where we're doing that mobile authentication, right? So we're going to be taking the full node and we're going to be creating software that allows you to do authentication with external services. So you can actually kind of like use it as a mobile authentication device. Super important. And then November 1st through the 30th, Yada Identity device is going to be, we're going to continue working on that. We're going to be developing a lot of the protocol information, the protocol documentation, all of the interoperability stuff that's going to make all of the mobile device authentication stuff work, right? So, developers will be able to create software that will be able to interact with this identity device and, allow access, allow you to log in, whatever it is, to their services and infrastructure. All right, so December 1st through the 31st. Yeah, so I just talked about this. So we're going to be doing Yada authentication protocol, and that's basically, again, it's just going to be getting all of this stuff out to the developers for everybody to take a look and start writing applications that can interact with this very powerful identity device that you'll be able to wear on your person. And so not only will it be a hardware wallet, but it'll also be an identity device. And it's the vision on this is so huge. I mean, we don't have anything like this yet. So we have hardware wallets, which are, they're very primitive right now. Okay, so a lot of them just have a very, very basic screen and very limited interaction. And this is just going to take things to a whole new level. And I think it's super exciting to be on the ground floor of. So, in conclusion, with all of these work items, we're going to scale massively. Like, we're going to have an infrastructure that will actually scale. There's so many projects, that they hit a big user load and then, boom, they fall over and, it doesn't work out for them and they end up with eggs on their face. It's not going to happen. We're making all of the steps. We're taking all of the steps necessary to avoid any catastrophes or anything like that, and make sure that our growth is not interrupted by, any unexpected loads. So we want to be able to handle anything that comes our way, and this is how we're going to do it. So, Yada will offering unparalleled digital experience. Mark my words. It's time to blast off. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope that everybody has a really great week. And let's, do you want to look at some comments real quick? No? Okay, we're just gonna take comments when you have them, and if you want to send them to me over Discord, or you want to send them to me on Twitter, or YouTube comments, you can comment on this video, you can send them on Twitch, you can send them on Reddit, anything like that. So I am definitely open to any comments, concerns, feedback, anything like that. But I am excited about this. This is all good stuff, and I want to see you guys around, and let's talk about it. Peace.